Live.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to From the Chair with Big Money Exchange with our guest tonight, Cesar Castro from uh, Pro Wrestling Legacy. And up in the
Hello.
left hand corner is my executive producer, Tony Wagner. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good, good. How about yourself?
Good. And apparently I got that question right because the bell dinged on the other side.
That was me telling me that YouTube was starting. So,
So, who were some of your wrestling heroes growing up?
My wrestling heroes growing up, I was a big I watched a lot of ECW back in the late 90s. Again, I'm 35 years old, so I was probably like in middle school, like 7th, 8th grade when I discovered ECW. So I grew up on a lot of like ECW stuff. So like a lot of stuff like Rob Van Dam would do, like him and Jerry Lynn, like the feud that they would have, like just one of the things like I fell in love with as far as pro wrestling. Far as like WWF at the time, WWE would be probably The Rock. I was always big a Rock fan. I like the bad guys. So like Scott Hall was another guy that I just loved. Again, just bad guys are the cool guys for me.
Very nice.
well, he'd get along well with your co-host.
Yes.
He would get it. But okay, so in honor of our co-host who is not here with us at the moment, he might pop in later.
Okay.
With him being a Indies manager. So tell us, sir, what is your top 5 managers of all time?
Top five. Wow. Let me see. One is Paul Heyman for sure. You got to put Paul Heyman. I think he's a phenomenal manager. I don't think anybody comes close to him. And then is it Brian the Brain Heenan? Of course, you have to put him there, top five for sure. Jimmy Hart, I guess. And even though I wasn't a big fan, but you got to respect what he did as a manager. Um, Let me see. To be honest, that's a good question because like I really don't consider managers. You know what I mean? Those are like the three on the top of my head that I'm just like I would give total respect to.
Got ya. Um, for the fans out there who don't know, what sets pro wrestling legacy apart from any other promotions?
Well, what sets, I guess, pro wrestling legacy apart is we're from El Paso, Texas. We're based out of El Paso, Texas, home of Eddie Guerrero. But the scene here in El Paso is strictly lucha libre because, again, our sister city is Juarez, Mexico, which is just literally a 5 minute walk, and you're in a different country, different city, and it's again lucha libre runs El Paso and Juarez. Like it's just mass wrestlers lucha libre. So that's what pro wrestling legacy was about, just to be something different. The American style, more storylines. And just yeah. So I guess that's what sets us apart, at least here locally. Is again we're just trying to be a stepping stone for these guys, these young kids, to move on and do better things. Again, we're just trying to help in that aspect.
That's very awesome and well needed in the wrestling business as a whole.
Yes, agree.
Well, I'll throw this question out early just because I just finished dinner. Nas's favorite snack is anything with peanut butter. He's known as Sticky Fingers Nas at the nursing home that he lives in.
Okay.
That is
So
true.
my question is, what is your favorite cookie or snack?
Cookie and snack. I'm not a big cookie person, but if I'm gonna chow down on some cookies, it'd be just an Oreo cookie for sure. I don't think Oreo cookies go wrong. So yeah, Oreo cookies for sure are my favorite. If I'm gonna have to choose between a cookie,
Nice.
yes sir.
So, what are some of the biggest rivalries in your promotion right now?
Right now, I guess our biggest rivalry of all time, and again, Pro Wrestling Legacy's been doing shows for about only 2 years, but I guess the biggest one would be Cosmo Orion versus Marty Snow. Those were they're two pillars of legacy, and they were just at each other. They faced each other um, last year for to be crowned the first ever PWL World Champion. But their rivalry just is awesome. People love when they go at it with against each other. But I guess it's a little swerve lately because I guess they joined forces. So I think that surprised our fans at Pro Wrestling Legacy that Cosmo Orion and Marty Snow are like working together now, almost like when Stone Cold and Triple H were tag teaming together. That's what it reminded me of when they hooked up together.
So you got the new version of the power trip.
There you go. That's what I think we try to create, and I think we were successful as far as our fans. They were in shocked because Marty Snow has this faction called the Inglorious Bastards.
Mhm.
So when Cosmo Orion joined the Inglorious Bastards, like again, because Cosmo Orion was a big fan favorite, big baby face for our company, and yeah, he just went to the dark side.
Sometimes that's some of the better stories too, right? Because it's something you never saw coming. So
Yes, exactly. I agree. And again, I was a fan of it again because I when it comes to wrestling, I do tend to cheer for the bad guys.
I understand that all too well. I kind of do the same thing. So
Okay. It's because they're cool guys. They break the rules. Like
Oh
who doesn't
yeah.
want to break
yep.
rules?
So I think I'm going to put his thinking cap on here, Nos. I think I'm
Uh-oh.
going to go with a top 5 indies only female wrestlers.
You're putting me on the spot because I'll be honest with you, I don't watch a lot of current product, especially indies. But let me see. Like right now, I think Brittany Brooks, based out of Arizona, she's killing it. She's very young in her career as well. So I would put Brittany Brooks like at number one right now. But as far as like indie female talent, like yeah, you put me on the spot with the thinking cap again. I really don't watch current product at all, um, unless it's a big pay per view or the guys that tell me like you need to watch this show and whatnot. So no, I'm sorry, like I couldn't
No, no,
say
No,
five
you're good.
females.
perfectly good. And she
No,
would be, Brittany Brooks. We've actually interviewed her. She'd be great.
okay,
She'd be
okay,
great
cool.
in Texas.
Yes, well, she's actually wrestled for at Pro Wrestling Legacy. She has wrestled for us, and again, she was amazing. Again, very young in her career, but I do see big things coming out of in the future for her.
And
And
I
then,
can honestly say for this podcast, she is the most positive person like I have ever interviewed or talked to in a very long time. Like,
Yes, she's amazing. She's a sweetheart. Just awesome vibes all around. Yes, I
oh
agree.
yeah,
Yes.
yes. A few other ladies that would be good for your promotion is SOS.
Okay.
Um, and then Kay Daver is out of Colorado. She's really
Okay.
phenomenal.
All right.
Um, I'd throw out Scarlet Rose.
Okay.
She's out of
uh,
California.
yeah,
And then, of course, my all-time favorite, Miss Pandemonium, is also out of Colorado.
Okay. Cool.
And,
Cool.
and you can't go wrong with Taya Rusame either. She's phenomenal.
in
All
fact,
right.
she's held the Taya's held the CSW championship for over a year. To give
Okay.
you an idea.
Yeah.
I guess who I'd add to the list. I don't know if you would consider indie. Her name's Persephone. She was formerly known as Black Widow.
Mm-hmm.
She's based out of El Paso, Texas too. She's currently living in Mexico, and she
Gotcha.
just signed with Triple A, the promotion out in Mexico. So I would put Persephone in there too. She is a badass as well.
Got it. And before we move on to the next one, I did want to say about SOS. What makes her character so intriguing, at least to me, is she plays a multiple personality character, which I know
Okay.
they've done in wrestling before, but
Yes.
she literally changes personas while she's wrestling by
Oh.
tagging herself in.
Oh,
So like
nice.
she'll slap her hand and switch to the next persona as
Uh-huh.
in like the middle of the match.
Cool. Cool. That is, and then I would assume that's not easy to do. You know what
Mm-mm.
I mean?
Yeah,
Like
and I
switching.
can send you her information after the podcast too.
Okay, yes, I would love. Yeah, I would love that.
All right. Your question, Nathan.
So if you could book one dream match from any era from any promotion, what would it be and who would be in it?
Ooh, that's a good one. Um, Let me see. I'm just gonna just because I recently heard about it. I don't know how true it was, but supposedly before Eddie Guerrero passed away, he was that WrestleMania. His plans was to work with Shawn Michaels,
Hmm.
so that would
Yep.
be awesome. Shawn Michaels and Eddie Guerrero, obviously at WrestleMania. I think that match would have stolen the show. It would probably been top five matches of all time.
Hmm.
It's a shame that we didn't get to see it. So yeah, I would say Eddie Guerrero versus Shawn Michaels. I would book that in a heartbeat.
Love that idea, and you were right about that. That would be top five easy.
Oh yes,
Yes,
definitely.
yes, that would have been amazing.
Okay, so what is the craziest gimmick match your promotion has put on?
The craziest gimmick match, I would say would be it was a cinematic match. So it's like what the Hardy Boys would do. They would film it already and
Right, right,
whatnot.
right.
I
Yep,
think
Right.
Undertaker did one for WrestleMania. Was it the Boneyard match?
yep. The Boneyard
Yeah.
match.
Yeah, with
Okay,
AJ Styles.
so we did one. It was Marty Snow versus Lucha Punk slash Lucha Pimp. He was like he's like a version of like a Mick Foley, but it was a cinematic match. They had like a street brawl outside. They had filmed everything prior, and as the crowd was into it, they thought it was different. We're showing it to a live audience, and before you know it, they like crash in through the garage door and they finished the match out live, and like the people went crazy when they went through the garage door because again they weren't expecting it. They're like, oh, okay, whatever. But as soon as they heard the garage door like break, because they literally broke the garage door open, like the people went crazy, and then they finished the match, the cinematic match. It was like a cinematic match slash the live match. So
Right.
I think that was our best one so far. Like it was awesome. It's on our YouTube page, and yeah, really good.
That sounds amazing.
Yes, it was cool. I was very happy how we pulled that one off.
Although I'm pretty sure you probably scared the crap out of whoever was close to that door if you're watching
Y-
the TV and then somebody comes crashing through the door right next to you.
Yeah, again, we were showing it on our screen out there. Again, it was people were like, oh, "Okay, this is cool, this is different," and but like yeah, like I tell you, like as soon as they went through that garage door, it was like a whole different ball game, and then they brought up thumbtacks and whatnot. So yeah, it was a cool match.
Nice.
Yes.
So, can you give us your top five male wrestlers of all time?
Top five male wrestlers of all time. Let me see. RVD for sure.
Yep.
Shane Douglas, the franchise. Again, I'm an ECW mark. Mike Awesome for sure. Um, I would have to put Sabu, and then just to throw a little curveball, Brock Lesnar. Those would be like my top five.
Nice.
Yes.
So, I actually have a funny story about that ties into Shane Douglas. So, I used to do a podcast with the original Pitbull, Gary Wolf.
Okay. Awesome.
And, and you remember when Shane Douglas broke Gary Wolf's neck and he had to wear the halo for a while in
Yeah. Then
ECW?
he. Yes. Yes.
So I asked Gary, I was like, did they do any like puns on, you know what I mean, or ribs on you because of the halo, right?
Yeah.
And he said Paul Heyman told him, come to work, right? We have an idea for you, so you can make some money while you're hurt.
Yes.
So they took him into the locker room, they stuck him by the door. And he's like, okay, maybe I'm gonna do security for the locker room or whatever, right?
Okay.
So as the guys open the door, they throw their coats on the halo,
Oh no.
and they're like, "Okay, now you're the ECW coat rack for the night, and that's what you're gonna get paid for."
That's an awesome rib. At least he was getting paid for it. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
that is a cool story. Was it Shane Douglas that grabbed him by the
yeah,
halo? It
yes,
was,
and
right?
kind of
Okay.
shook it around, and yeah,
That's like a core memory. I don't remember exactly who did it, but like they twisted him and they threw him to the ground. I was like, damn, that's pretty hardcore.
Yeah. So did that's what he thought too, because his neck wasn't healed all the way; it was closed. But
No, yeah, right, yes, yeah, but
so
again,
as they're shaking it, he told me he was like, "Man, I was just hoping he didn't break it again." Like,
well, yeah, I could imagine, but the ball's on him to even like agree to anything like that. So
oh yeah,
respect.
Let's see here. In your opinion, who's the best actor or wrestler turned actor?
Batista by far. That guy has range. If you see any of his movies, like he can play different characters. Unlike The Rock, The Rock is the same character. The Rock is The Rock in every movie. I think Batista really took the acting very serious, and you can actually see the range in that guy. So I would say Batista, hands down, not
I
even
would have
close.
to agree with that.
Like I'm a big Guardians fan, and I just loved how he portrayed Drax, and I think he just did a good job. And again, he's done like serious films. He can be funny, he can be mean, he can be vulnerable. So yeah, like and then the one that surprised me the most, John Cena when he did Peacemaker. I don't know if you guys seen the series, but
Yes,
Mm.
also John Cena showed that he can be vulnerable as well. And like again, he showed some range for sure. And that's what The Rock doesn't do. The Rock always has to be The Rock and powerful and the badass 24/7. But no, I,
yeah,
I would put John Cena second after that.
very good choices.
Thank you.
So, what was it like to work with Marty Skrull? I know you said before we got live that it was like 3 weeks ago, but
Yes, it was 3 weeks ago. So we worked with Roger Styling Rogers, former NXT guy. He's the one that made gave us the contact with Marty Scroll. We talked to Marty Scroll right off the bat. Super cool, super humble. When he came to town, I didn't know what to expect. As far as Pro Wrestling Legacy, Marty Scroll is the biggest name we've ever booked. So we were all kind of like on edge, like we're actually dealing with a big star. But no, like cool guy, like he's a normal dude at the end of the day, right? But
yeah,
super awesome. He did a seminar for our guys here in El Paso, and just pumped out a bunch of knowledge, just a bunch of knowledge for these guys, just helping them. And hopefully they took a bunch of the stuff he said, and it helps them later on in their career. But no, just awesome guy, just super professional, and super cool. Just you hear stories about guys that backstage are kind of pricks and whatnot, because they're they were famous or they are famous. But no, Marty Scurll was the opposite. He was like, come on guys, let's take pictures, like because they're at one point they're a little timid, like asking for a quick selfie after the show. But no, he was very happy, and just let's picture away, like this, let's get these pictures. Cool dude.
and I
uh
know for various reasons, like his runs and like major promotions like stopped, but I
yes.
think he needs one again, right? I think whatever the issue was might have dropped down enough that like somebody should give him another shot.
Yeah, I can't to be honest, I can't really like go into details about it because I really don't know what happened. But what I truly feel is Marty Scroll will be on the big stage in the near future. Like he just has to. He's too good.
Oh,
In Japan.
There he is. Oh,
I think we lost for a minute.
okay, we're having technical difficulties. Bear with us, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
There he
Oh,
is.
there we go.
There he is. Okay, he's back. Can you
Yep.
hear us?
Well,
Maybe.
well, he was for a minute. Um,
While we get this chance for him to reset, we'd like to promote something on this podcast for the first time. Ladies and gentlemen, like we were saying, if you're ever interested in learning to be a professional wrestler, our co-host and good buddy Big Money Dodge is running the Big Money Compound online training.
Yes, and I'll tell you this from a wrestling fan's perspective, this is something you've never seen before. I put it to a kid of like, you know how like nowadays they have like the home workouts.
Everything back to normal.
There we go. You're back.
Yeah, yeah, I think we got you now.
Okay, cool, cool. Was it on my end?
I'm not sure. Could
We're
have been
not
on your
sure.
end. Could have been.
Okay, cool, cool. But yeah, back to the Marty Scroll thing again. I do see him working on the big stage, something like Japan. I know he's getting a lot of bookings in Mexico, but again, he's still young. As long as he's been wrestling, he's still young in his career. I think, and he's young enough that it's not the end of Marty Scroll. That's for sure.
No.
Yeah.
All right. We'll make it easy on you. Let's do your top 5 tag teams of all time.
Top 5 tag teams. Let me see. The Dudley Boys, obviously. RVD and Sabu, and they were awesome together. I know. I forget. I don't know if they had a tag name, but it was. Let me. You did put me on the spot. Hold on. It was T- Taz's cousin who wrestled in ECW. What was his name?
Oh,
Chris Chetty.
Chris Chetty.
Yes, Chris Chetty and Nova. They were an awesome tag team. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
when Mikey Whipwreck and Tajiri were tagging.
With the Sinister Minister.
Yes, yes, sir. And then I would go probably Christian and Edge.
Nice.
I'm telling you, again, I just grew up on ECW and from the late '90s, and that's just a lot of core memories in there.
Hey, you don't have to explain. I did the same thing, so you and
Okay,
I are right on the same page as far.
awesome, awesome. And then just again, like I'm only 35, but just to show like how old I am, I guess. Um, that's when I had a little older friend, and he would tape trade, so he'd just give me a bunch of like tapes, VHS tapes, and I would just be there watching hours of just ECW, just cool, just just be like, man, this is awesome.
Yeah. Um, I think one of the best managers in ECW was Bill Alfonso.
Oh well, yes, of course, man, straight down the middle.
Except
Yes.
for I still hate the whistle, but I have
Oh,
reasons for that.
oh, okay.
And I
I
suppose you want to share your story too, don't you, Nos?
Well,
what? Yeah, we have to hear the story of why you hate the whistle.
I that podcast that I did with Gary, we interviewed Bill Alfonso, and I was excited because I was like, man, he's got great stories from being in the WWE, F, and being, in Japan. What they
Yes.
didn't tell me was he was bringing the whistle,
Oh, so
and so we're doing that over the phone. So I have the phone up to my ear, and after every word, he blew that whistle for an hour after every word in my ear.
well, that's commitment for sure.
But by the time I got done, I think I was halfway deaf on that one side.
I mean, I would agree with you. You have every reason to be mad at the whistle now. Yeah, that's funny. Imagine
I
there.
mean, I get a laugh at it now, but they got a hell of a laugh at it then.
Uh,
Imagine, yeah, right? Imagine like just hearing the damn whistle blowing and blowing, like horrible.
so did you have nightmares of that whistle? Just
I
asking.
still have nightmares of that whistle.
Tonight for sure. Since we brought it
Yep,
up,
yep. Tonight's gonna be a night.
right?
Okay, yours, Nate. Go ahead.
Um, can, can you tell us about some of your champions in your promotion?
So for our world title, again, Cosmo Ryan was our inaugural champion. He was the first ever PWL world champion. Aiden Colt is another one. Aiden Colt's our current champion right now. He's a two-time champion. If you talk to him, he'll remind you every every 2 minutes that he's a two-time PWL world champion. Uh, and Aiden Colt is awesome. He's he was on AEW Dark when AEW rolled here through El Paso. But just if you guys want to interview and have a really good interview, he has the same he's Gino's match, and him and Gino actually had a little feud with us. But yeah, like Aiden can talk for days. um, are the champions that we had like for because we have technically, I guess we have our world title, we have our Lone Star title, and then we have our tag champions. And so for like our Lone Star champions that we've had Tiger Man Jr. I think you reached out to him that you maybe want to do an interview with them. He,
Yeah.
he's a luchador. Tiger Man Jr. has a mask and
Yep.
whatnot. Yeah, he was one of our awesome Lone Star champions. Marty Snow, again, I mentioned him a couple of times. He was a former Lone Star champion. Right now, our Lone Star champion is called Beast Boy. He's this like
Okay.
5'3", somewhat muscular dude, and yeah, he's a little Beast Boy. And just like a little fun fact, he's my little brother. So yeah.
Got ya.
Yeah, he's a fan favorite for sure. Why I don't know. I look at him and I'm just like, why do people cheer this guy? But I guess they just dig his smile and whatnot. I guess he looks adorable, and that's what people like. And then our tag champions right now are called the Hate Brothers. They're a tag team from Juarez, Mexico. They're luchadores, and they're firecrackers, man. Like you got to be quick with it when you're wrestling with them, because they're fast in that ring. But yeah, that's some of our champions.
Nice.
Well, that's right up Nathan's alley. He loves the luchas. He loves the luchadors.
I do.
You do? Okay.
That's why he reached out to Tiger.
Okay.
Yep.
We actually have him, I believe, in July or August.
Okay, awesome.
But I mean, the rest of them, I mean, he loves. I mean, he could sit and interview luchadors all day.
Yep. Because to me, it's such an interesting way to tell a story, right?
Yes.
Because they're moving so fast, but they're still telling the story of the match, right?
I agree. And I think the lucha style, lucha libre, however you want to call it, has come a little more mainstream with the pro wrestling. Because like when I do watch, for example, AEW, I do see a lot of lucha spots. I'm like, well, that's basically lucha right there. And I guess because it's just fun to watch, I think that's why people just enjoy it.
In fact, that 6-man last night was one phenomenal match.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
you talk about Dynamite, right?
Yeah, Ray Fanick, Penta, and Bandino, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Against the BCC.
Okay. And it was a good match.
That one was that one was really good.
How many Canadian destroyers did they do?
I think at least 4 or 5.
Oh yeah.
When I first saw the Canadian destroyer, which was back in TNA with Petey Williams, like my mind just blew. Like, what did he just do? And then like now you just see Canadian destroyers like a regular suplex. Like it's crazy how times have changed.
There's a guy in the Northwest named Jeremy Blanchard. He's about 285, and he does a running Canadian destroyer.
Okay, cool.
Blows my mind every time at that size that man can run in a dead sprint, then do a flip and hit the destroyer.
Yes, but yeah.
But yeah. Okay. Is it yours or mine? Yours, mine.
It's yours.
Mine. Okay, I was afraid of that.
Like hot potato.
Let's see here. Let's do. You know what? Let's just do it. Give us your ultimate, any genre, any wrestler, WrestleMania card. You as a promoter.
Oh, you really put him on the spot.
As a promoter, what's your card? What's your WrestleMania card?
Like, is it current wrestlers? Is it like
any
genre?
Any okay.
Yep.
Just because we didn't really get to see it, and people like in the late '90s were like, this would be, I guess, the match of the century. I would have put Stone Cold and Goldberg in their prime.
Ooh.
Even though Stone Cold would probably have to carry that match.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
Let me see. I guess a Triple H and a Hulk Hogan, a Hollywood Hogan, would be awesome.
Ooh.
I think the storytelling would be amazing with that one.
Ooh.
Let me see. That's already 2 matches, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I think a late 90s RVD versus like a Shawn Michaels would be awesome as well. I think those guys would do amazing.
Yes, please.
Let me see. I'm trying to think of somebody for The Rock because you have to have The Rock, and he
Right.
was electrifying. But I'm trying to see who would, because no one really in WCW. I guess a Rock and Sting would be cool.
Ooh.
Like
I like that one.
Yeah, there you go.
Ooh,
Like a late
yeah.
90s Sting versus The Rock, So I think that would be awesome. And then I'm trying to see. What it's because I was a big fan of 3 Count as well from WCW. So I'm trying to see what.
Yep.
I guess like a 3 Count versus like the Hardy Boys. I think that'd be fun.
Ooh.
They were friends anyways.
Nice.
Oh.
They were friends.
So they would go all out. But that's all I can think of as right now. And then just for fun, just because I love their feud, is Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar.
Ooh.
I think
Nice.
I never
That
think
would be
they had
good
like a
one,
bad
yeah.
match.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yes.
Oh,
Now-
you're welcome. We are graced by
3 count. Was that the 3 count with Tank Abbott or without?
Both, but I think they
You're
did.
welcome. Oh, the interview can start now. Oh,
Okay, thank you.
no problem.
yeah. Well, watch this. You're up, Dodge.
Yep.
What the hell? I just got here. Calm down.
Hey, you gotta go on the roll. You're supposed to be the manager of managers. Come on, man, pick it up.
Okay, I don't even know what the hell questions you've asked, so I'm gonna ask my own. Besides
Go
me
for it.
being the best manager in the Indies right now, not
I already
to
asked
brag,
that
you're
one.
welcome. Oh, you already asked him. Well, then you're
The top
fired.
5 managers. We already asked that one.
And he put me as number 1, right? If
He
was
didn't
the
know
right
you
were
guy,
close.
he would. Okay, good.
You were number 4.
Hey, at least I'm not number 5, so I'm good. What's the worst injury you've had in your career?
I'm not a wrestler, so
Yeah, he's a promoter, dude.
I'm a
Yeah.
Excuse me. See, this is why people need to tell me things, because now
He did
I
that.
don't have a chance in hell with this promotion. So thanks.
So let's do it this way. What's the worst injury that somebody's had at your promotion?
Your talent, yes.
Okay. I guess it was he was a luchador. His name's Aviatico, which I guess translates to aviator. Over the rope into the crowd, they kind of like missed catching him, so he basically landed like the back of his head was what broke his fall, and
Ooh.
just yeah, and he basically blacked out and started having a seizure. So yeah, that was a scary moment.
That's definitely a lucha moment too.
Yes,
Just
big
saying.
big time.
Yeah.
And the fun, I guess to make it, we laugh about it now. I'm cool with them, but it was a benefit show. So when that happened, we're like, oh man, we're gonna have to have another benefit show for him.
Like, let's just set up another one right now and call it.
Yes, pretty much.
The biggest
So-
name in your promotion.
The biggest name,
Yes.
I would have to give several because like there's I mentioned it's Aiden Colt, Cosmo Orion, and Marty Snow. I would put those top 3 like off the bat. There's something else.
You need Big Money Dodge and Big Money Exchange over there. I'm just saying.
Okay.
We'll be up there.
Well, you get down to Texas. I'm sure you guys can work something out.
All my
Definitely.
exes will live in Texas.
Yeah, right.
Well,
So
that's
do
a story
mine.
for another podcast. I think.
Oh, sorry, family show, right? Yeah.
Well, he just came from another podcast, to be honest.
Yes.
That's true.
That's why they call me Big Money Dodge. I'm busy.
And by the way, I've been trying my best not to cuss. I don't know what kind of podcast it was, but I was like, I've been on my A game so far with not dropping any F
If you let
bombs.
one slip, we're good. It's not
Okay,
that
Yeah.
like you know
okay, cool.
adhere to like a family show. So.
All
All
right,
right,
thanks.
Nathan, you're up.
So I noticed in some of the pictures that your guys' arena kind of looks like the old ECW arena. Was that kind of by choice, or?
So I think you're talking about it's because we recently moved about like a month and a half ago. But no, it was actually in a warehouse it was like an art gallery in a way. It was it was a co-op. So they had a
Oh,
space in the back of the warehouse, and that's where we threw our shows. But yes, it was ECW vibes, and no, that was just by accident. But I was very happy with the vibes, of course. It's just like an underground feeling.
very cool.
Yes. So you would have people painting and whatnot, trying to concentrate, and then just you hear slamming and people yelling. So yeah, it was cool.
See, I'm a sarcastic person. If somebody was painting while somebody else would wrestle, I'd be like, "Hey, I bet you I can paint a better, painting in this match than you can on that canvas."
Right? Yeah.
Dude, I'd hit somebody with the canvas while they paint.
Right? Like,
Yeah, right?
that would have been cool.
It's a 3D
I'd be like,
painting.
"Now I'm the photo."
Yep. We didn't think of that one. It's because we really want to pay for a crappy painting. So
Oh man.
All right,
Yeah,
big
Tony.
money, you're up.
Oh, Tony.
He's on mute, so just kind of roll with it.
Hang on.
Oh.
Yeah, just
I
go
think
past
Tony's
me.
watching some TV.
Oh, that's more important than
No, talking to my
No.
wife.
I
Or did
talk
he
to my
freeze?
wife all the time on
I
live.
think
I don't care.
Yes,
think
that's
you
why you
froze.
sleep on the couch.
You're welcome too.
Okay.
There
Anyway,
he is.
go ahead. Oh, never mind. I guess it's mine. Okay. I've got it. Hang on. I gotta find. Go ahead, Dodge.
Let me see. If you were to become the head promoter of any of the top 4 promotions that are on TV, like WWE, AEW, Impact, or Ring of Honor, which one would you want to sign with? And what would your very first match, actually, your card be? Your first card?
First card. Any promotion, like I just take over. Is that what you're saying?
You pretty much take over one of the promotions. Pick the one and then make your card.
Damn, a whole card. I I guess I would be selfish and go with WWE just because it's the biggest and most money. So I'd be like, let's take over this bad boy.
Right?
As far as card, I don't know. Me personally, as a wrestling fan, I think they're doing well as far as the storylines they've been putting out, wrestling. Again, like I told the guys earlier, I don't watch current product really anymore. Unless it's a big show, like again, like a WrestleMania, a SummerSlam and whatnot. So I think I'm pretty happy what they're doing right now. Like, for instance, I know I'm not really answering your question, but when Roman Reigns beat Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, I was a big fan of that. I was like, that's cool. Like, I guess it was a somewhat of a swerve, and it pissed off all the marks on the internet, so that made me laugh.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
But I really do think Cody Rhodes has something special. Like he has something big planning. He's planting the seeds. It's gonna be a big payoff. I really do believe that.
Well, he's starting off pretty big with Brock.
Right? Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Did he wrestle him with a broken arm?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How much stronger do you need to look? You're wrestling Brock Lesnar with a broken arm.
Right?
I know. I mean, you'd think like the pec thing at the Hell in the Cell with Seth Rollins would have been enough.
Right? But no, he's like, what's next? Paralyzed from the waist down, and he still gets to wrestle.
He'll still do it. That boy got some
I don't
flesh.
mind.
So, if you could book one person from the old ECW, no questions asked, who would it be and why?
Uh, um, even though he wasn't my favorite, it'd be Shane Douglas, the franchise. I think that character was just awesome. Just amazing. The mic work, he can actually go, he can carry a match. Yeah, Shane Douglas, the franchise, because it's like the name says, he was the franchise, and as far as ECW, he was. He did, I believe, when he was champion, was carrying that company.
Very cool.
Very much so.
All right. Here's one for you. From a promoter standpoint, do you ever struggle to come up with new ideas for matches?
Uh, Again, I really don't like calling myself a promoter. I guess it's just got stuck because it's me and my business partner. Her name's Domino. She does more of the financial end, right? Like she makes sure we have money in the bank. If it wasn't for her, I would have pulled up Paul Heyman and we would have gone bankrupt already. But no, again, she's the one that says no, we can't spend money on this. Yes, we can spend money on that. So she's amazing. She's like the mom for us. But as far as ideas, it's the guys at the end of the day. Again, it's their promotion. We sit down, we brainstorm. We're like, "Oh, okay, I think that will work. Let's give that a try. And if it doesn't work, well, again, that's what we're here for. We'll go ahead and fix it, try something else. But at the end of the day, it's the guys that are pretty much. I don't want to say they're booking, but they're putting a lot of input on what we do at Pro Wrestling Legacy.
I love that because I don't think that happens enough, in wrestling today, right? Where you know
Yeah,
you take input from the locker room.
yeah, and again, we've instilled this since day one. Like it's their promotion. What we want is again to be a platform, a stepping stone for them to go on and do bigger and bigger things in their career. Like for instance, we want to see Cosmo Ryan 20 years from now in WWE. Well, actually, he wouldn't go to WWE because again, his goal is to be in Japan. But just them making it big and them starting their career off at Pro Wrestling Legacy. Like that's what we want. We want to help them get to the next level.
You want to push them up. Good.
Yes, sir.
That's a good one. So
All
is
right.
it my turn?
It's your turn,
Yep.
Big Money.
Oh man, nice play. What's the craziest thing that has ever happened during one of your shows?
The craziest. To be honest, not a lot of crazy things happen in our shows, but I guess you know how I told you we were doing a benefit show. And
Yeah.
the wrestler hit his head and concussed and started
Yeah.
spazzing out. Right before that, it was the same show. Right before the show started, like two fans like ended up in a fist fight in the lobby area, like the straight up fist fight. Like we had to
Wow.
separate them. So I guess it was that night that was just it was crazy. It was just again it was a benefit show. It was to help one of our wrestlers that got injured at AAA. His name's El Dragon. They messed up his neck, and so we're doing a benefit show for him. And yeah, I guess that would be the
So
craziest
that
things that
must have
happened.
been the dark match then, right?
Yes. It got the crowd warmed up for they're like, all right, let's go. It's gonna be a good show.
Right?
And again, like I knock on wood because our shows is BYOB, so we we let our fans bring in their own beers. So, but again, our fans are pretty well behaved,
Looks
just
like I
except for
had
that
to
night.
talk to Southern California promotions and be like, "Hey, let them BYOB, bro. Trust me. You want a dark match? We can get that."
Right. But yeah, again, nothing crazy has ever happened in our show. Uh I guess another crazy. He doesn't wrestle for us anymore for good reason. Um, but there was this wrestler. He was, I guess his gimmick was whole like he was unhinged. He was a menace, a madness. He was kind of doing a street fight. He gets somebody's one of the wrestlers is his name's Chukobum. So he takes off his tennis shoe because he's homeless. So he takes off his tennis shoe and then he chucks it to the crowd where it almost like the shoe almost hits like somebody in the face. I'm like
Oh,
that was the first one. Like, again, this is the same match, and I'm like because we have a backstage monitor, so I'm in the back of like, did he just throw a shoe? And then like somebody next to me is like, yeah, I believe so. I was like, why is he chucking shoes to the fans? And then and then later on in the match, he has his candlestick and he hits a fan. Again, it's the commentator's brother that was in the crowd, right? And he decides to hit him with the candlestick, which I don't know what he was thinking because again, they didn't talk about it prior to the match. You know, like, hey, I'm gonna hit you with the candlestick, sell it, whatnot. No, it was just spontaneous. Like he hits him with the candlestick. So this kid, he's probably like what 17 at the time, kind of sells it, like, but then he's there cheering. So I was like, bro, like, like, no. So we had a big talk with him, and then he ended up like that was his last match with us.
Got ya.
I
Yeah.
laugh when I see talent during a show get chopped, and while they get chopped, they're smiling, and I'm like, bro, how
Right?
how long have you been in the business? Like,
Yes, come on, respect the business a little. Don't
yeah,
don't expose it
Like,
too much.
unless you're a psycho character or something, you know
yeah,
what I
you
mean? And
love
you're
the
supposed to
pain.
like enjoy pain, then maybe you can smile. But
There you go, exactly. But no, yeah,
But
that was one where I was like, I had a headache after the show.
I bet.
so,
All right.
in your opinion, who's doing the best job as a promoter right now? Been so it'd be Triple H, Tony Khan, or Court Bauer in MLW.
Um, Actually, MLW is doing some cool stuff right now. But I would say Triple H. Again, I tried watching AEW when I can. I just can't really get into AEW, and then it just goes to the like again, you just see spots after spots after spots, which is cool and all, but again, it doesn't entertain me, I guess. Where I do see flipping the channel, at least with WWE, there's like what it's more story based. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that keeps me intrigued a little longer. And so yeah, I would say Triple H, but then again, I am a huge Triple H mark too, so it's a little biased.
Well, and we brought this up on yesterday's podcast, but the thing that threw me off about Tony Khan recently is they got that new show Collision,
Yes.
and they've been making announcement for it, but he literally at one point made an announcement saying he was going to make an announcement next week.
He loves making announcements. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
I was like,
But
so
wait,
wait,
he will make
you
an
made an
announcement, though.
announcement to make it to tell everybody you're making an announcement. That makes absolutely no sense.
Well, maybe it's working because we're here talking about it,
I
Well,
know.
good
It's all
point.
like, now I want to know what the announcement is.
right? It's just another announcement. But what was the announcement? Is it the CM Punk thing? I did see
Yeah,
something on
CM
Yeah,
Punk.
Instagram.
it
is
Well,
was
CM
the
Punk is
CM
going to be
Punk's
it.
gonna be
Yeah.
on Collision.
Okay, so they finally settled the differences, I guess.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I'm not a big CM Punk fan. I never have been.
Yeah. Thank you. Me neither.
I think you're right on with everybody here on that one,
Okay,
God.
okay, cool. Because I,
except for Tony.
I know he has a lot of diehard fans, and like I have friends that are diehard fans, but I'm just like I'm sorry, he just doesn't do it
I
for
don't
me.
see it. I don't see it at
He's
all.
not believable. I don't think he's believable. And then he proved it when he went to the UFC, where he just got his ass whooped 2 times.
Thank you.
Well, they didn't
Oh.
sell out the United Center until they announced CM Punk.
Well,
Now it's
that's
sold
what
out.
No, I agree. Like he makes money. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't know why, but again, he's just profitable, and you know, hats off to him. You know what I mean? Like I can't hate on him. Like he makes
But
everybody money.
talent wise,
Yes.
Well, and talent wise, and I look at it this way too, right? Yes, he sells tickets, and that's ultimately what you want.
Yes.
But he's proven that he has issues, right? Like every promotion he's been in, there's been some kind of like drama or problem
He's just a toxic person, I guess.
that he has to work his way out of.
Well,
But no, but I do agree with you, Tony. Like he makes money, man. Like so, he's gonna continue getting booked or working with the wrestling because he ultimately makes money at the end of the day, and that's what counts, I guess.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, we could go on and on about CM Punk, but
Yeah.
let's get to our few last questions because we're getting close. What are your What are your future goals for your pro wrestling legacy?
So I've been open about this with the guys since day one. I really want Pro Wrestling Legacy to be a hub for everybody across the world that wants to learn pro wrestling slash lucha libre.
Yep.
Again, El Paso is amazing when it comes to like lucha libre talent. Like we have, you wouldn't believe how much talent we have here that hasn't gotten noticed yet. But that'd be my main goal, as in somebody that's already in the big leagues. Like, hey, I'm going to be passing through El Paso, and I would like to go ahead and stop at our facility is called the Borderplex. I want to stop at the Borderplex and just pay a visit. You know what I mean? Like that's my ultimate goal, is just us being a hub for all pro wrestling people to come and visit.
I have a buddy in Southern California, Lil Cholo and Mariachi Loco.
Okay.
They've had Kalisto show up. They've had Charlotte Flair show up. I mean, you're talking Lil Cholo that's been in Lucha Underground for,
Yes.
God, years. And I'm like seeing them post pictures of Charlotte Flair there and Andrade and just all these big names just driving by saying, hey, we'll stop by.
Yeah, exactly. Just like another fun fact about Pro Wrestling Legacy, we do work with another promotion. It's essentially two promotions under one roof. So we work with this promotion called Delgado Promotions. They're a dynasty from Mexico. It's fourth generation wrestlers at this point.
Oh, wow.
So one of the main one is El Hijo de Cobarde, which he wrestled for AAA. He's one of our trainers there. He trains our guys, but he actually is the one that trained Andrade growing up.
Really?
So
Wow.
yes,
That's crazy.
yeah.
Whoa.
So he was actually at the wedding, and he's sending us photos of, at the wedding with Andrade and Charlotte. I'm like, damn, that's super cool. So I'm telling you, like, El Paso's well connected when it comes to pro wrestling in a way. Again, another big name was Sin Cara, the second version. The second version.
Oh,
So
Second.
the second.
Yeah.
yes,
Right.
he's from El Paso, Texas as well. Again, we got Pagano from AAA again across to our sister city Juarez. That's basically his city.
Yeah.
It is a city, so Pagano. So again, like El Paso does have like well-known wrestlers. Again, it's just not Eddie Guerrero. And
Right.
again, just to add on to what you asked earlier, that's another thing that we are trying to build here at Pro Wrestling Legacy is build more Eddie Guerreros. Again, I don't want to be selfish, but there's more than Eddie Guerrero when it comes to El Paso pro wrestling. So yeah, again, in 20 years, I want to see 10 to 15 Eddie Guerreros from El Paso, Texas.
Very
That's
cool.
a lot of frog splashes.
But,
Ouch.
That's a lot of three amigos. Yes.
Right?
well, and before we get on to our next question, I want to do a little promotion here for Big
Okay.
Money Compound.
Oh,
Okay.
He is just starting it out. He is going to start online classes. He is amazing. He's our co-host. Nathan and I love him to death. Big Money Dodge and Big Money Compound. Anybody in Washington State, anybody nationwide
Anybody,
wants to
period.
come in. Anybody, period, wants to come in and get the ropes on wrestling and until they can get a ring, come watch them online. I'm sure Dodge can tell you when it starts and where it's at.
June 13th, our very first trainer is none other than SoCal Crazy. We have major announcement coming soon. We're still in the mix, so it's just a rumor. Calm down. But the Brian Kendrick might step in.
Okay, nice. Actually, Brian Kendrick is coming to Pro Wrestling Legacy July 21st.
Ooh,
So yeah,
that boy's everywhere.
yes, we're
Yes,
excited
he
about that
is.
one.
Just don't
So-
put him with Paul London. I'm just saying.
That's another we were talking about tag teams earlier. That's a very underrated tag team, by the way. Paul London and Brian Kendrick.
I agree.
Very much so.
Okay. So that was my shameless plug for our co-host. Now on with the questions.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you
It
advertised me.
It wasn't shameless. I love plugs. Like back in the
I do have
NWO
a
days,
question, though.
buy the shirt.
Exactly.
Have you had any Southern California talent come to your promotion? If so, who?
No, we haven't. We have talked to some, I believe, some people from SoCal, but no, we haven't booked anybody strictly from SoCal. I guess Brian Kendrick will be the first one, if you consider him a SoCal talent, even though he's already, made his name.
I
But
got
no,
a few friends that would love to travel, and
to El
Texas
Paso.
isn't that far.
Okay. Yeah, right now, again, we've only been in the business for 2 years, but right now we're working with a lot of people from Arizona. And I know Arizona works with a lot of people from California. So I know eventually it's gonna happen.
So I got this tag team group that I really despise, but I respect at the
Okay.
same time. They're called Downfall Cathedral,
Okay.
Ryan
Yeah.
Riven, and Ramrock. You need to book them.
We knew okay.
They
All
are
right.
really
So
good. I'm reading the cue card, but anyways, they're really good. Honestly, they put a hell of a match. Any
Okay.
match I've seen them in, highly respect and recommended.
Okay,
Him,
cool, cool.
those two guys, and of course one of my favorites, Brittany Brooks.
yep.
Yes.
She's already been brought up in the podcast.
Well, you're welcome again. I
Yeah.
hope.
Yeah, she has wrestled for us, and we're in talks of bringing her again because again, like amazing talent at a young age.
AEW Dark already? Hello. That's like,
Yeah.
Right? And I think for
wow.
a couple of times already. I know she was.
Yeah.
I don't know if she wrestled, but I know AEW was in Vegas, and I know she was there. So yeah, I
And
know
Maserati, you need to find that girl. She's everywhere.
Maserati. Yes, yeah. Well, she's based out of Vegas. Yeah. So yeah.
Her.
All right.
And then, of course, the new addition. Oh, wow.
We already
Scarlet
brought up
Rose.
Scarlet.
Oh, you already brought. Why am I even on here if you guys already got this under control?
It's a
God.
partnership. Remember, we take care of each other. But okay, so Nathan, Dodge, one last question each.
Okay, before I say my next question, I want to say one more thing about Downfall Cathedral.
Oh God, no.
I'm really
more.
big at
No.
describing people's finishers. Their
Yes.
finisher, if you know the magic killer that the Good Brothers use,
Okay.
it's a version of that, but they turn it into like a gunslinger when they come around the other side.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
And
Brutal.
yes, my members in my group experienced it.
Okay. First-hand experiences. I like it.
Yes.
All right.
They say it
Well,
hurts.
Speaking about finishers, what's your favorite all-time finisher?
There's so
Ooh.
many. Um, I'm gonna be cheesy, but there's like two. One I can't remember the name, but I'll go with the obvious choice is the RKO slash the Diamond Cutter. Even though I'm a more bigger fan of DDP when he pulled it off, the Diamond
Yeah.
Cutter.
Yep.
But yeah, that the I guess the cutter at the end of the day, and I hate that so many people throw it out now.
Yeah,
Right?
But Stone Cold had a cool one back in ECW before he signed with WWF. He would like pick him up and throw him like on the top of the rope, and like they would like hit their neck. He had a specific name
it's
for
like
it,
the
but
stun gun.
the stun gun. There you go. Yes, that was his finisher in
Ooh.
ECW, and I was a big fan of that because like that does look like it hurts.
Yeah,
Oh, my question, my last question.
your last one, buddy.
Oh my God, I gotta make this count.
and well, you're called
So,
Big Money Dodge, so put your money where your mouth is and make this a good one.
okay, so when is Big Money Exchange coming to your promotion and cause trouble? I mean to wrestle.
to um, whenever actually, dates are open. I guess we'll after this we can talk a little more and
Definitely.
definitely make it happen for 2023.
Let's do it. Let's make it.
You can bring your you manage wrestlers, right?
Yes, sir. Of course.
All right, cool,
Top
cool.
big money talent. Just saying.
Big money talent. I like it.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
But yes, we can definitely make that happen.
Awesome. Boom's going to like you.
Yes, I think he will. So, All right. Well, we want to thank you for your time this evening.
Yep.
No, thank you for having me. This
Nice
was
meeting
fun.
you,
This is
bro.
actually my first podcast that I do, so I had a lot of fun. I can't believe it's already going to be the hour. That went by pretty quick.
It did
Right?
go by really quick,
It does.
but you're welcome back anytime. So
Okay,
anytime
awesome.
you have any big promotional stuff that you want to promote,
Okay,
send us flyers your way and we'll promote them on the podcast for you.
awesome.
Yep.
As
And I
always,
see you
again,
are a Bears fan,
Am I a Bears fan? No,
or is that the Reds? What?
it's the Cincinnati. Yes.
The
I'm
Reds.
not an MLB fan, but I wear anything with a C or an A on it. So,
Oh,
Got you.
but no, no
So-
Bears fan.
so again, anybody looking for a online promotion to get started in wrestling, Big Money Compound with our friend and partner Big Money Dodge. If you're in the El Paso area, or I'm sorry,
yeah.
No, you're right.
Yep.
El Paso.
El Paso,
El
yes.
Paso.
Yep. Check out Pro Wrestling Legacy. Until then, good night, everybody. Nathan, you look like you already got a bath, so you're forgiven for the flea dip tonight. But please keep it classy. See you guys next time. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.